Hello my crow children, this is a spur of the moment video because it's spring break and I realized that I haven't posted a video in a month. Am I doing a video where the speed paint and the video story time are completely unrelated? Yes I am. Do I care? No, not really. Don't at me. The only reason I haven't posted anything is because I threw my will to live at a wall because of school and I legitimately forgot. So to my 13 subscribers, I'm sorry. Anyways, I've always been infatuated with Storytime speed paint videos, so let's give it a roll, shall we? If you're unfamiliar with what D&D is, it's a tabletop game where people roll and write characters and roleplay with those characters while also rolling dice to decide choices. Depending on what you roll, your character will succeed or fail at an action. That is grossly oversimplifying it, but for the most part that's what it is. When I was in middle school, I was a member of the Sci-Fi Fantasy Club run by one of the science teachers. It was basically the video game club, the Gay Straight Alliance club, the cosplay club, and the D&D clubs all slammed into one. The club started when I was in my 8th grade year, and for context about the teacher, her two most favorite things were science and Pokemon, so she was pretty cool in my book. I joined around 3 months into the school year because the morning news wouldn't give me any information about the club. When I went out after band practice to sign up for the club, and she told me there was a D&D game being run by one of the 6th graders. I went into that classroom, player's handbook in hand, and sat down at the table. The dungeon master for that game was late to the club meeting, and once he did get there, he had a really hard time starting because he didn't know what he was doing. Finally, we had started the game, and the DM tried to control our every action. God forbid I, the druid bard, try and do anything passively instead of violently, or God forbid somebody suggest we roll for initiative or do something other than what the beginner's module he was running explicitly said. A handful of the kids who were sitting at the table got fed up with this rather quickly, so I picked up my stuff and me and a few other kids decided we would start our own, better game on our own. This wasn't fun, his game was frustrating. So that's how I became a dungeon master, and one of the driving members of the club. I was almost older than everyone else there, so I was running a module for kids who were younger than I was, 6th and 7th graders. While I did have many problems with my players outside of the game, I'm going to focus the story time on some of the more entertaining roles and situations that the players had gotten themselves into. A little ways into the module, the players were supposed to go into this cave that was filled with goblins. The goal, at least, was to kill the goblins surrounding the cave, and then stealth around the cave to get to the boss and get some fruit that was stolen from a nearby town. At a certain point, they came across a dump room with a garbage chimney chute in it that they were supposed to climb to progress the story. To elaborate, the goblins basically threw their garbage down a brick chimney. Guarding this chimney was a pack of 4 wolves. I knew my players, so I knew that at least one of them were going to try and tame the wolves that were guarding the chimney, and I told myself that a player had to roll a natural 20 on a dice to tame the wolves. One of my players, whom making up a name here, Justin, said, "I'm gonna roll to tame the wolves." Roll animal handling, D20. He rolls a natural 20 with a +5 in animal handling. And I said to myself, well, golly gosh darn goddammit, they get to keep the wolves. But as mentioned previously, they had to climb the chimney to progress to the next area. So they send their fighter up the chimney with some rope. Fighter tosses the rope down. Here, I thought they were going to be smart and pull the other party members up. Nope. They tied the rope around the wolves and pulled the wolves up the chimney because they wanted to keep them that badly. It took a lot of high rolls and assistance for them to get the wolves up. Soon after that, the party nearly drowned because the goblins had a system that dumped a large wave of water onto intruders. A little later in the same dungeon, the players had come across a room with slaves that doubled as a storage room. This room was right before the boss room, and I decided to add my own spin on it by adding an NPC to possibly join the party. In one of the cages, there was an elven girl with bright red hair wearing ragged clothes. The players, in a set of terrible rolls, tried to break the cage instead of breaking the lock. So Justin started shaking the cage violently and rolled high enough of a strength roll that he broke the entire front of the cage off. And that's how their wizard bard joined the party. A lot of other party members had decided that Idril, the elf, was their child now. However, Justin and the rest of the party decided they wanted to sacrifice her to Satan. Around the table, the group was chanting at me, "Sacrifice! Sacrifice! Sacrifice!" I told them that because she's now a party member, they can't sacrifice Idril. They then rephrased it to this: "We want to sacrifice her to our almighty DM." I tell them no. I was constantly saying to my party members, I'm the god of this world in this game. My rule is law when it comes to these sessions. I may bend and break some rules of D&D sometimes. So another kid, whom I'll name Fred, says, I want to roll to kill God. Upon asking Fred what he meant, I want to roll to kill you. Dumbfounded and slightly amused, I responded with, roll to hit? The entire party scrambles to grab their dice and start rolling d20s. A few kids got higher than a 20 because of bonuses and such, but I simply sat there and smiled and went along with it. You'll hear an echoey, reverberous voice in your head. Why are you trying to kill me? Is there a point? Justin's character starts shouting, This place is hell, that's why! Just continue, Justin. Never! And then they went into the boss fight and nearly died. My favorite interaction, though, and there are more entertainings, but this is by far one of my favorites. My favorite interaction, though, is after we had run out of module material and we started making stuff up. They headed into the Dragonborn city and were exploring. They end up getting to have a presence with the Dragonborn Queen after a bit of drugging the guards, and they find her in her garden sparring with their captain of the guard. Who bears a striking resemblance to Undyne? Our rogue says, I want to spar with the queen. Ah, yes, spar with the level 17 sorcerer bard Dragonborn Queen. It wasn't even 3 turns into combat until he was knocked unconscious. My players started shouting at me because I was cheating and quote-unquote not rolling. I did in fact roll, and they claimed that the character was too OP. I argued and rebutted that they shouldn't be sparring with her, and that I had her character sheet right in front of me. So the rogue asks the queen, Can I try again, your majesty? The queen gives him a glance, his hood falling on his shoulders, the scar around his left eye being shown, usually hidden from the darkness of his hood. No, she says plainly, and he runs right after her with a knife in desperation before being thrown by her into a nearby fountain. I have a lot more stories, but I only have so much speed paint material, and I don't want this video to get longer than 15 minutes long, because my first video for the When We Were Lost review was 45 minutes long. If you want to listen, if you like hearing me talk, go ahead and check out the When We Were Lost review, I guess. It's 45 minutes of your time of me complaining about a book. Otherwise, obligatory YouTube insert here. Please like, subscribe, join my Discord server, follow my Instagram and TikTok. Okay, bye.